Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we will present our result of discussion about PEST disease control of rice plant. Before we start the presentation, I will introduce the member of group. First is me, Rifan, and then Pemi, Farika, Ahmad, and Nita. Background: agriculture is a sector that has a very important role in the economy. Rice is an important cereal crop and is used as staple food by Indonesian people. The main obstacle that is often faced by farmers is the presence of plant-based organisms. The taxonomy of rice plant is classified into divisi Spermatophyta, subdivisi Angiosperma, kelas Monocotyledon, ordo Puales, famili Gramineae, genus Oryza, spesies Oryza sativa, rice plant pest.
Vegetative pest. The first, gold snail or Pomacea canaliculata. The golden snail is a pest that destroys plant by grating the tissues and eating it, so that some seeds are lost. One way to control it is to make a ditch around the rice field and then feed it with leaves. The second, rice field rat or Ratundus argentipenter. Rats will cut the growing point or cut the base of the stem to eat the grain. Control is done by using natural enemies and poison bait. Generative pest. The first, walang sangit or Leptocoryca acuta. Walang sangit is a pest that sucks the liquid grain during the cooking phase of milk, so that the resulting rice changes color, classifies and is empty. Control can be done by using insecticide. The second, birds or Loncura spp. Birds are pests that attack plants during the milk ripening phase until the rice harvest. This results in an immediate loss of yield. Control can be done by making rat markers around the field or using roper that are given against plastic or by using nets. Disease of rice plant or Oryza sativa L. The first, blast disease. Blast disease is caused by the fungus Oryzae. Blast disease causes two characteristic symptoms, namely leaf blast and panicle blast. Control can be done through planting resistant varieties, proper NPK, fertilization treatment of seed by immersion using synthetic pesticide, and the use of vegetable pesticide. The second, brown spot disease on rice leaf. In general, the symptoms of brown spot disease are on the leaves and glumae or grain part. Although leaf midribs, branch of young seedling panicle and stem can appear. Control that can be done by cultivating healthy plants, using quality seed, improving water management facilities, blanch fertilization, planting simultaneously, and setting the right planting time. Seed treatment is done by soaking in hot water. Hot water treatment. The final control alternative is using fungicide.
Another disease of rice plant are brown leaf spot disease or narrow brown leaf spot. It caused by the fungus Cercospora oryzae. It caused by the process of flowering of seed filling is hampered, and then root and leaf midrib caused by the fungus Rhizoctonia sp. And the symptoms seen in plants that have form killers and cause the amount of quality of grain to decrease. And then Fusarium moniliform disease. It caused by the fungus Fusarium moniliform and attack panicles and young seed on the rice plant. And then crackle disease of leaf blight this disease was we found at the field. It caused by bacterium Xanthomonas campestris. Symptom causes are lined between the bones of the leaves, blistering lines, and filled by blackish fluid. Leaves dry and die. And attacking in the vegetative pest, the control by planting disease-resistant varieties such as IR36, IR46, Cisadane, Cipunegara, avoiding mechanical injury, environmental sanitation, and chemical control with bactericide. And then the leaf streak bacterial disease, it caused by bacterium Xanthomonas translucens. The symptoms are there is a yellow red wet line on the leaf blade, so the leaves feel like burning, and then drought disease caused by virus transmitted by the insect Milavarta lugens. The symptoms are leaves become short, narrow, yellowish green, short-term, short books, and many bud small pillars. And then the last one is tumor disease caused by virus transmitted by leafhopper Nepothetys impicticeps. The symptoms are less than perfect plant growth, yellow to brown leaves, reduced number of shoots, delayed flowering, small panicles, and not contained.
This picture is observation result in 26 March. Next. This observation result in 7 Juni. Next. Okay, this table is a result. Number 1 is farmer name Sumati, address in Grogol RW 37 Banjeng Maguwarjo Sleman, land area 700 meter persegi, land production March this year with rice. Pets and usually attached with plant, hama wereng, burung emprit, and walang sangit. Pest control measures is manual, diusir langsung menggunakan orang-orangan sawah atau pakai kepiting untuk menjebak walang sangit. And disease that usually attach rice plant is penyakit kresek or bakteri Xanthomonas oryzae. And disease control measures is cultivation technique and resistant varieties. Next. This table tips of pests and disease and controlling. Number 1 is pests walang sangit. With controlling, tiled by clearing and land area of weeds or mengelola tanah dan gulma. Number 2, fertilization is done early or pemupukan merata. Number 3 is crop rotation. Number 4, controlling with biological agent, namely of fungi Bufferia bassiana, can be obtained in the form of tagging, applied that when rice enters the meal cooking paste, and if controlling using biological agent has no effect, chemical control can be carried out, namely using insecticide. This is done if the pest walang sangit is at control threshold, which is 6 fish per meter persegi. And types of disease is penyakit tawar daun karena bakteri Xanthomonas oryzae. Is controlling, number 1 is optimal trial and clearing of land from weeds. Number 2 is use of resistant varieties. And the next number, crop rotation and planting time simultaneously is 1 stage, and setting spacing plants with use balanced fertilization and P, K, and microelements according to the grow patch and season of yielding to height and fertilizer, and setting the irrigation system according to the pace of plant growth, and land sanitation to reduce pathogen source, utilization of Corynebacterium biological agents, and number 10 is spray biological according to packing recommendation weekly. Okay, next.
And next is discussion. Based on the research, it was found that the pest that was considered the most detrimental was the walang sangit or Leptocoryca acuta. In the name and imagopest, Long sangit begins to attack the rice fruit by spreading the rice fruit juice so that it becomes empty rice. Controls that have been carried out by farmers, namely direct eviction, scarecrows, and the use of yuyu or crabs. However, it has not been effective, so it is recommended to carry out preventive and curative controls. Preventive control can be in the form of optimal tillage, land sanitation before planting, fertilizing evenly, and crop rotation. Curative control that can be controlled with Bavaria bassiana and the use of insecticides. Next is the most severe disease infecting plants is bacterial leaf blight, which attacks the vegetative base. The recommended control is preventive control, namely optimal soil cultivation, clearing land of weeds, use of resistant varieties, use of PGPR for seed soaking, crop rotation and planting time simultaneously in one bed, spacing that is not too tight, balanced fertilization according to the growth phase and season, and then irrigation system regulation and land sanitation to reduce pathogen source. Next is the recommended curative control is the use of Corynebacterium biological agents and bactericide spraying based on the packaging recommendations Wesley. However, because the use of biological agents is still common to farmers, especially farmers haven't received counseling related to the pest and disease control and biological agents, further assistance is needed to implement control using biological agents. Next is conclusion. Rice is an important cereal crop and is used as a staple food by the Indonesian people. The increase in rice production is influenced by nuisance factors that can result in a decrease in production, one of which is plant-disturbing organisms. Therefore, proper identification and treatment are needed to control pests. Identification of pests and disease problems is done by interviewing farmers. Set this and design a control program. Pests that are most detrimental to rice plants are pests of walang sangit, and the disease that is most detrimental to rice plant is bacterial leaf blight. And the recommendation control program is a combination of preventive and curative control. Next, okay, that's all from our group. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.